growing up in Australia, there was not a lot of literature available for people interested in herpetology. Whatever literature we did have generally came from the United States, who were slightly ahead of us with their approach to herpetoculture. And this led on to an obvious need for books, perhaps written by Australians, about Australia's herpetology, the reptiles and amphibians, and the keeping of these animals. And I had many inquiries through my book business for people wanting particular articles on the breeding of pythons that have appeared in a variety of magazines like Herpetofauna and Monitor magazine or Reptiles Australia. And so I got to thinking that perhaps I should take all these different articles and put them into the one place and make it easily accessible for people. And that's how the Keeping and Breeding of Australians Python book came into being. And there are around 5 different authors that are recognised for their expertise in particular species of pythons, and that's why these people were chosen. Due to the success of the Python book, it just seemed logical to follow on with perhaps the next best area of keeping Australian reptiles, which was lizards. And lizards seem to be becoming more and more popular in the hobbyist trade. So we ended up going on to produce the Keeping and Breeding Australian Lizards as well, which is actually ended up being twice as thick as the Python book. And the authors said to me, "How much do you want us to write about our particular subjects?" And I said, "Well, just write until you feel as though you've written enough." And from a publishing point of view, I wondered, how thick is this book going to be? And as it turned out, it is about twice as thick as the Python book, but it does address pretty much most of the species of Australian lizards, and it even discusses a lot of the lizards that haven't yet been kept. So they're both proven to be very useful items to have if you're interested in the subject of keeping and breeding Australian reptiles.
One of the greatest things we get to do every year is come to this expo in Castle Hill, and it's really exciting. There's thousands of people come through, and a lot of the people that come through here are new to the hobby, and some of them are people that have been subscribers to our magazine for many years. And we also get a number of our photographers as well. And so one of the great things about this expo is we actually get to meet face to face with the writers as well as the public and the subscribers, and we get that really great feedback of what they do like about it, what they don't like about it. And when you meet new and interesting subscribers, soon you find out that they have new and interesting species that we haven't covered yet. And so all of a sudden a subscriber or a reader turns into a writer, and we form a really great friendship.
We have a range of judges from some of Australia's most eminent reptile keepers and biologists as well, and they look at the condition of the animal, number one, and then other factors come into it, like the colours and just the aesthetics of the animal, of course. And if they're and the judges, some of them are very, very experienced herpetologists or herpetoculturists, so they know how to spot an animal that is well looked after, and they get a ranking based on a variety of criteria from overall health right through to the colours and patterns and so on.
Undoubtedly, python keeping is easily the most popular subject in which we publish. We also publish stories and articles on skinks as well as monitors and dragons, but pythons is really where the Australian public love to be. And I think it's really interesting to see how pythons have changed over the last 5.5 years, in the way that people are always after the next big thing, with particularly colour morphs and patterning and reduced patterning, and I think that what we're particularly proud of is being able to produce a professional product that allows people to see in bright colour what these different colour morphs and patterns look like that they might not have available commonly in people's collections. And we also have the opportunity to give a lot of great detail written by very professional keepers about the ways in which you can breed and keep these animals.
The thing that we have in common here at this reptile show, that we all belong to the one tribe. I've always had this passion of wanting to be a veterinarian and wanting to do more and more with reptiles, and and it's met. I've always mucked around with reptiles since I've been a qualified veterinarian, but with the increase in the hobby, even just in the last 5 to 10 years, it's just skyrocketed. I have another job as well, so I'm a clinical veterinarian at Taronga Zoo, so I get to play around with some fantastic reptiles there on a regular basis. So I'm in reptile heaven.